Thanks so much for introducing us, Jen, and thanks everyone for coming to our demo today. We're Team Oz, and we're so excited to share our demo and showcase our learnings with you. So we had something of a unique opportunity with our final project in that we got to work on a web app with Inqli. They are a startup tech company working to create a platform that promotes mentorship, engages curiosity. It's a social app that allows mentors to share knowledge, engage mentees, and foster those relationships. Throughout this collaboration, Inqli has been the living embodiment of their own core philosophies. They have guided us and offered us the opportunity to make our own assumptions, devise personal learning strategies, as well as a chance to add value in our own way. All right, so now I'll introduce our team very quickly. We have Ali first. He's a talented photographer. He has a background in petroleum engineering. He's a problem solver and enjoys working through puzzles and is pursuing full stack development. Next, we have myself. I have a background in communications, design, and as a goldsmith. I'm interested in UI, UX design, and I'm looking for a career that will foster my passion for learning and growth. And then Matt, he has an interest in algorithms and data structure. He's looking for work with a motivated team that is positive and growth focused. And then last but not least, we have Raf. He has a background as a chef and a love for cooking. In addition to his background as a business administrator, he has enjoyed learning about data structures and data analysis.
Yeah, so we'll introduce you to the problem we had. So Inqli's web app was at its infancy. They had user, there was data for organizations, but there was no interaction, there was no relationship in between them. So as a consequence, user could not join or create an org, they could not see one another or connect based on organization affiliation. An organization could not gather any kind of insight on its members' interaction on the app either. So that's the problem we're tackling over here.
Yeah, to handle and tackle that problem, the first stage was to understand the code. It was a big chunk of code. So we have to add to the code and create a new relationship based on traversal recipes on the graph database to connect the nodes between the users and organizations. Apart from that, we have to edit the existing repos to coexist with the codes that we are developing all along. On the front end, we created a UX for the users to create an organization, join one, and administrate them. Alongside that, we introduced the UI and worked on that through Figma and bring it to life through coding. And a few of the technologies that we used, Raf would introduce them to you.
So yeah, we got to work with a brand new stack and a whole new workflow. So for ours, it was a little bit different than MERN, sorry. So we used Vue and Beautify on the front end, Figma for design, and JavaScript React frameworks, as well as on our back end, we use Python and Chalice, and then Cognito client through AWS, and Insomnia for testing our endpoints. And then, of course, we worked in an agile format. We used Slack for communication, Atlassian, so Jira, Bitbucket, and Confluence. And then for our database, there was Apache Tinkerpot Gremlin and Docker.
Awesome.
Thank you, Joey. I am back. Sorry, that was a hiccup of my Zoom. And I should have explained the technologies, but now let's go to the demo, Ali. Thank you so much. So here we have a profile of a user without being signed in. So we can see that the profile has different parts about me, obviously what the user input in their profile. And we are going to go now to the process of signing in. For signing in, you can use a phone number or an email. The phone number and the email are both validated, and the phone number is not validated with phone number util. So once that you logged in, it will prompt you to complete your onboarding with an email, which will detect if your profile it's been attached to a proprietary domain or a free domain. If it's a proprietary domain, it will check if we have a workspace created, or if it's going to prompt you to create a workspace for the company. Here we're creating a developer student for the University of Victoria for Chris. Once you have created your account, it will allow you to interact with the profile.
Thank you so much, Rafael. Since University of Victoria was there actually in our database, after signing in, Chris redirected to their profile and joined the organization. The profile that we saw here is basically the same view that we had at the start when the user is not signed in, but with one difference that now we have the nav bar on the side. So the user can see their organizations, their profile, and the other organizations that they are a member of would be listed down here. On the organization profile, the template would be almost the same based on the UI. The information on top, and we have the members of that organization sharing that organization down below. And this would direct the user to their website, the website of their organization. Another feature that we add to the Inqli's repo is the insight, which is our data analysis page. We'll have several graphs here analyzing the data that we have in the database. So first one is a pie chart that's showing the participation of the users in that organizations. It consists the amount and percentage of the questions and the replies and the whole content that they provide in that organization. Next one is the chart of the past 6 months of the new users that joined that company organization and the total number of members right now. The next one is a geographic distribution of the users all around the globe. This chart is smart enough to expand based on the distribution. So currently the users are within Canada. So you could see just the Canada members and the Canada area here, North America mostly. But if a user is like, supposing Europe or China, the map would expand to cover all the distribution. On the right side, we have the top 50 interest among the users of that or members of that organizations. So the most popular one would be shown bigger in font and the brighter color in the word cloud. And the app, the exciting thing about the app is that this is kind of, developed in a way that is mobile friendly. So this is the mobile view that the difference in nav bars would be shown on the top left side, and it's interactive. I can show you the other pages, all mobile friendly. So now I'm going to sign out and Joy would show you the flow with the admin user.
All right, so yeah, we'll sign in as a user who has admin status applied for an organization. This user in particular will have an admin status for University of Victoria, and I believe it is Julia. So we're going to sign in with her email because she's already obviously gone through all the verification, so we won't need to add all the emails and fancy stuff. All right, and if we go to her organizations page, which is University of Victoria, we scroll down, we see we have a few new features and some new buttons. If you hover over the users or members, I guess, we can see there's a drop down, which will give you the option to delete a member. So if they've changed their affiliation or if we just wish to remove them for whatever reason. And then you can also assign admin status to any member if you need to expand who is administrating your page. A little bit further down, we have a few other buttons. I'll show you the invite one. When we click on it, it triggers a form that brings up our form to send an email to invite more members to your organization's page. So it'll accept a first name or first and last, depending on how formal your company is. So we're just going to send one to Ali, and you can see that it has been successful. And so we'll just switch over and have a look. So yeah, this sends an HTML template email that auto-populates with all of the information we just added on the other page. So you can see that it is addressed to Ali, and it is from Julia, who is from the University of Victoria. So it's pretty handy. So this is being sent with the front-end only API email.js. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So I'll take over and explain the latest feature we have for an admin here. So the ability to edit an organization details. So all the feature, all the fields here are all being validated. So you can upload a logo, which is basically being validated for content size and file type. Sorry, I just scrolled at the wrong spot here. Oh, thank you. Next, we have organization type, which is basically the 4 types of organizations that Inqli has on their database. Next, we should probably go over and fix a couple typos that we have here. So research intensive and located in, just to see, like, to have something to change here. Then the website URL is pretty self-explanatory. It takes a URL. Another cool part here, we have a list of all countries. Whichever country you choose, it will auto-populate with states and provinces of that country, and similarly for the city within that state and province. So when you submit those changes, it will only allow if you did everything right. Good job, Ali. And here we can see that our changes were applied. Okay, so that sums it up for the demo of the app itself. So we'll just go over and I'll talk a little bit about the key learnings we've had. So personally for me, with previous project, documentation and testing has never been a priority. Working with Inqli's code has forced us to bring our standards up and take the time to understand the existing code and implement features in a consistent manner, leaving a better code behind along with the useful documentation and unit testing to be used for future developers.
And for me, it was using professional design principles to design a UI and UX using Figma and an 8-point system to speed up our workflow. And using the learning strategies that we acquired with InceptionU to apply the skills we learned in MERN and learn a new stack quickly, and then to be able to add value to this project almost immediately. And that in particular was really empowering and exciting for me.
Thank you, Joy. Well, development environments and my computer, which tricked me today to be out of half of the demo. Real world best practices, embracing a Scrum workflow, which I love it, working with a real company in an established team, and that was fantastic for me. Also learning and recognizing my team members and myself, weaknesses and strengths, and bring them together for our team. I'm really into deep dive into data structures. And that's all for me. Ali?
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, that's all of the above actually applies to me too, especially the part about testing and documentation. It was exciting. Apart from that, we did as our previous project with the MERN stack, we kind of threw away all our learning and started, with new technologies, a new stack. At the start, it was very intimidating. And after a while, I understood that the main takeaway, I understood that it's not that scary if you learn one language or database or framework. It's easy to jump over to another one as long as you know the logic. So that was great experience. So I appreciate the InceptionU team and facilitators that provide this platform for every one of us to have this chance to develop ourselves. And working with Danny as our Scrum Master was amazing. I have to send thank you to Inqli team, Rebecca, Sven, and Cameron that were with us all the way along. Big shout out to our fellow cohort, and amazing job they demonstrated today. And thank you everyone for being here today.